Sometimes I think about engaging families or starting a project, and I think it's going to be a lot of work and it's going to be a lot of frustration. But this year I gave it a try and it ended up being really easy and a really great thing for the kids.
One of the things that I do in my classroom are weekly cooking lessons. And so these weekly cooking lessons are not the ants on a log, you have the celery stick and you have the cream cheese or peanut butter and then some raisins on top, which nobody really wants to eat. These are family recipes. These are things that families eat all the time that they have donated to the classroom as suggestions for things for us to cook. And through that, the children and I are becoming researchers of kind of each family's culture. And I think it's really powerful. And so families end up coming in and they end up helping cook these meals too. And so one example of that is a student named Sean. And Sean loves pizza, but he doesn't love just any pizza. He loves his mother's pizza. And his mother puts all sorts of things on pizza that I am not much of a cook, so I didn't really know what she was putting on at the time, but she made the dough from scratch. And she put these delicious cheeses on top that were gourmet, and she came into the classroom and baked this with the children so they could have a hands-on experience with it as well. The children got to taste it and talked at home about how much they enjoyed it. And the parent logged onto the website and shared this recipe with the entire class. So now what was a family recipe is now a community recipe. Now everybody is cooking this pizza.
Family of the Week, we wrote a letter to families and I said, we want to get to know more about you. We want to get to know more about your children and have the children as a school family learn more about each other. So it was pretty simple. We put a sign-up sheet on the door. We said, pick a week, and that's your family's week. You know, there were a few parents who didn't sign up, and I tracked them down, and I said, your family's really important to us. We really want to know more about you. Please sign up. And then families that were nervous about it or families that were a little hesitant, I really walked them through the things they could do. So we said, you know, it could be something simple like bringing in a food that your family enjoys. That's kind of everybody's go-to. We said bring in a photo album. Bring in, we've got a lot of immigrant families in our classroom, and we said bring in some things from your country. Bring in some traditions. And it was, the families were really honored that they were important enough that we were going to take time out of our classroom to just learn about the child and learn about the family. And they really rose to the challenge. I remember one parent, she brought in the flag from El Salvador, and she brought in pictures of the farm her family works on in El Salvador, and she brought in just some things that were really important to her and her sons. And it's with a group of 3- and 4-year-old children, and she sat there and she was tearing up, and she was saying how she misses her family in El Salvador. Now I'm going to tear up. She misses her family in El Salvador so much, but she's moved here so that her children can have opportunities.
We teach science and social studies via an expeditionary learning model. And through this model, kids learn about different science and social studies standards via the lens of an expedition. And within an expedition, we try to highlight guest experts, people who really know about a certain field. And we try to highlight research as a really important component of science and social studies because everyone has the opportunity to learn if they choose to do so. The way in which I incorporate families into all of that is I take an inventory of their professional experiences and, you know, personal experiences if it's not in the form of vocation. And I really see how that can lend itself to the classroom. It also addresses the issue of time with family engagement, because for all those families pushing in and using their expertise to help my students learn, that's where I can kind of pull out and observe and plan less. So it's really kind of a mutual helpful thing. And also I think that kids just get so much more excited by seeing a grown-up in their life participate in the classroom as opposed to seeing my face every day, you know, share that material with them.
It is important to learn about the children in your classroom. Learning about their background, learning about their culture shows a sense of respect. It shows a sense of genuine interest. Learning about a child's culture can help you to better relate to the student. It may be that simple not looking in your eyes when the child not looking into your eyes. It's a cultural issue. It's not a matter of disrespect. So when the teacher takes time to understand the culture, you now understand how the child operates, and you become open, and you can relate to the child through different avenues when you know about the child's culture. It is important because knowing about another child's culture can also help children in the classroom to learn something new. And it is important to open children up, to let them know that they do not live in a box. They live in a country that has a mixture of cultures. And when you learn about all the children in your classroom, give them a chance to express themselves, they become confident. And they now know that the teacher values where they are from and values what they have to say.